Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my video. This is my second channel update where I want to give you guys an update on 4 main topics. The first one is related to the amount of uploads I have made this year. The second is related to the latest changes I have made to my editing. The third one is related to how I have spent the money I have earned from YouTube so far. And the last one is related to me enabling super thanks on YouTube. The first topic is that I haven't been able to upload as many videos this year as I originally wanted to. Originally, I actually wanted to upload even more videos this year than I have done previously. But there was a big change for me in the fact that I finished my studies last year. So at the beginning of this year, I started a new full-time job, which is simply just taking a lot of my time and of my efforts, because when you start a new job, you really want to impress the people, you want to impress your colleagues, your boss, and so on. So it's just been taking up a lot of my time and generally just a lot of my time. And there's also just been a lot of other personal things happening in my life that has meant that I haven't been able to put in as many hours as I originally wanted to do. And I do want to apologize for that, because it is my goal to at least upload a new video every third to fourth week. So at least every month to have a new video up on YouTube, which I have not been able to keep. However, I do think that it is going to improve from now on. I have been able to settle in a bit more into work, and with the help from, the second thing that I wanted to discuss today, the second topic, I have changed over to a new editing tool. This has also will allow me to be able to edit a lot faster. I originally switched from using HitFilm Express, which I have used for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, if not more, over to DaVinci Resolve. And there were two main points for the reason that I did that. Firstly, because I felt like I needed to be able to make my videos better and edit them a lot better. I needed to go over to a tool that were a lot more advanced, where it's a lot easier to perform the more advanced things you can do, if that makes sense. At least, and especially from the experience I've gained making the last video, the PUBG video in DaVinci Resolve, I also do feel like that is actually true. That it's a lot easier to make the more complicated things. I hope that makes sense. And that was a small part of it. The big part of it, the second thing, was actually that the performance simply wasn't there in HitFilm Express. When I'm comparing and figuring out the best settings, I sometimes have 5 options on screen at once. So that's 5 1440p video in my timeline at once. And HitFilm Express simply couldn't handle that. It's never been able to handle it, but eventually I just got fed up with the problems that I had because of it, because it was causing my timeline to be laggy. I couldn't be able to actually edit properly because I would have to skip back and forth many times just to see whether or not the change was actually happening at the exact moment I wanted it to happen. And that was making it so that it would actually take me more time to edit and making it more frustrating to edit. Therefore, I chose to change over to DaVinci Resolve instead, because I know and I've heard that it has a lot better performance. And that is also true. However, it is also worth mentioning that to get that extra better performance, I did have to buy the license for it, which leads perfectly over to my third topic around the money I have earned on YouTube and how I have spent it. Now, I don't want to go into too many details of all the money I've earned and how I spend it, but generally all the money that I've earned from YouTube so far, which has mostly been through AdSense, I have put back into my YouTube channel. So it's been used to pay for the logo, for the intro and the outro, and for generally other small items that can increase the value here and there. Like for an example, if you look at the thumbnail for PUBG, I have a small logo in the bottom right corner, which is also something that I've paid for using the money I've earned from the YouTube channel. The biggest thing that I bought, which I touched upon earlier, is that I bought the license for the Pro license, or Studio license as they call it, for DaVinci Resolve. And the reason for that is that even though DaVinci Resolve as the free model still had better performance than HitFilm, it was still not enough, because I still have 5 1440p videos side by side. And sure, I could have used caches and I could have lowered the resolution, but when you're trying to compare different graphical options and see the graphical difference, so the quality difference, it makes it a lot harder if you're lowering the quality. Therefore, I spent around $300, which is also, it is without a doubt the most expensive thing I have bought with the money I've earned through YouTube. But I spent that on DaVinci Resolve, and after having made the video on PUBG, I definitely feel like that was worth it, because it has been able to increase my production value by a lot. Maybe not so much by PUBG, but in the future definitely, because DaVinci Resolve have a lot of great features. Just let alone in the edit tab, you have the fusion engine, you have the color grading you can do. There's a lot of options that I'll be able to explore over the next couple or the next many videos. And now I'll be able to explore them while having a timeline that actually runs smoothly. And that can really make a big difference, especially just for the time alone I spent editing. The fourth and the last topic that I want to touch upon is Super Thanks. This week I've been able to activate and enable Super Thanks on my channel. And if you don't know what Super Thanks is, it's basically just beneath the video there's a thank you button or thanks button that you're able to press, and then you're able to directly donate money to me. This will enable you also to get a special comment that will stand out in the comment field. You'll be able to write your own personal comment to me, and you'll be able to support me in creating a lot better value for this YouTube channel and for you guys. This is, however, right now limited to a certain amount of countries, which is also why it's just been introduced to my country, because it's been in other countries for 1 to 2 years right now, as far as I know. But it is gonna give me an opportunity to get some more income, and to get some more income which I can use to either improve directly the value of the videos, make them better, look better, sound better, anything like that, or to save myself time like I did with DaVinci Resolve. Because one of the biggest challenges for me right now is that I only have a limited amount of time. I also have a full-time job. I also have to sometimes at least exercise and actually move my body. And I also have just, the general personal things that everyone has that they has to do. So therefore, this extra income is something that will be able to enable me to provide more value and just generally, hopefully, make my videos better in the future. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys for your support, for your feedback, for when you're liking the videos, commenting the videos, or just watching the videos, for when you're subscribing to me or not. It's really amazing to get all of this support, because I really love making these kinds of videos. And I really love to try and push myself constantly to make these videos better by every video. So I also do try to make every video at least slightly better, if not a lot better than the previous video, to see how I can improve it. A good example is that with the last video with PUBG, I was able to shrink my intro and my outro by quite a lot. I think a minute to a minute and a half in total I was able to take off, because I actually realized that it wasn't really creating any value for you guys. Now, if you do disagree with me on that, please write that in the comments below. But as far as I could tell, it wasn't creating any value, and then I might as well just remove it. But I love this journey of figuring out how to do this and continuously making these small improvements and changes. Therefore, also please come with all the feedback you have and give it to me. Some of it I may not use, and some of it I will use. And the one I will use is really great, and it's going to help me make better videos for you guys. So it's also going to benefit you guys in the end. But I hope this video gave you guys some insight into my thought process, what I'm doing, why things are happening, and so on. And it wasn't just me rambling for 10 minutes into a camera. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.